Well, yeah, I wanted to just share briefly, and then I'm going to hand it over to these guys. Many of you, whether it's because you're elders and you got an email or we've had personal conversations, you guys kind of know the nuts and bolts of what's going on, and then some of you are going to hear it for the first time tonight, but nevertheless, super exciting times at the Father's house, and specifically has to do with Chuck and Ashley and what they're sort of being called up into, and then also Ginny. So I'll rewind the tape a little bit. When we first started this journey with Chuck and Ashley, one of the questions that he asked me, I don't know if that was, I guess, a year ago, when we first were having conversations, or even more than a year ago. You know, his question was, do you have vision for me? Is this going to... Originally, it was sort of an assistant role in children's ministry, ironically, even though he's way overqualified to be hired as just an assistant, but nevertheless, that's kind of where we started. And my answer to him was, man, I don't know you very well, but everything I hear about you and Ashley is that we have really a lot of vision for you, and we can see you really stepping into greater leadership roles at the church. And so that's certainly been the case, and we've really been excited about the way that Chuck and Ashley have been integrated in a pretty short amount of time into our church, and the great job they've done with elementary school. So then, fast forward to about 3 months ago, we've been in a journey with Pastor Tracy, and that journey looked like, God calling her to some other things besides just administration here at the church. As you know, she's had a heart for women's ministry and missions for a really long time. In fact, when they brought Heather and I on, that was one of the things that they said up front was, Pastor Tracy really has a heart to do some of those things. So, about 3 months ago, we began the process of specifically walking through what is it going to look like for Pastor Tracy to transition from her role as discipleship process coordinator or director. So, with that, we began a journey of, okay, what does it look like, and who's going to step into that discipleship process director role, and what does that mean for our overall team? And so I had a conversation with Ginny, which I was really surprised because I didn't anticipate the conversation going in the direction it did, but I just simply asked a question, like, where do you see yourself in a year? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? You've been in children's ministry for a while and just really rocking it. And I was kind of anticipating her just saying, love it and excited for the future in kids ministry. But she really shared a little bit, and I'll let her, I don't want to steal her thunder, but she shared a little bit of her passions and desire to do some other things that stay here at the Father's house. And so that led to a journey ultimately of us realizing that the Lord was at work on multiple fronts here, as he does when he's in something. Then he's sort of doing things he didn't even know he was doing, and everything kind of works together. And so I'm really excited about the future of Ginny stepping into our discipleship process director role and really bringing a lot of leadership there. And then Chuck and Ashley stepping in to be the children's ministry or the kids ministry directors. And so that's really the big announcement, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the logistics of what that's going to look like as we move forward, but that's going to be, or is happening over the next month. There's training in the office for Ginny and for Chuck and those kinds of things, so that by June we're fully transitioned in both of those areas. And so super excited. We feel like this is really the Lord and not just sort of reacting to something. And I think that it couldn't be better timing as we move into our new facility and we dream about what kids ministry will look like downstairs, and we have more space here than even we do at the high school for kids ministry. So I'm going to transition it over to Chuck. First I'm going to transition it over to Ginny.
Yep.
And then show a little bit of your journey.
So super sweet of the Lord to just take us through this little journey. And I look around the room. You guys have been through. A lot of you guys have been through some transitions over these last few years with me, alongside me, championing me. And I really, truly am grateful for every single one of you that stood by me and helped me get through those transitions, and KidBuilders, and couldn't have done it without you guys, really couldn't, and the Lord. So kind of what Shay was talking about a little bit, he came in my office one day and it's funny because months prior to that, I felt like the Lord was stirring my heart, and I was not being obedient, and I was like just wanting to be complacent and be faithful to see KidBuilders into this new building, and I just needed to stay put. There's been lots of transition, and I just kept telling myself that, but it's not what God really wanted for me. And so this conversation came about, and I was pretty vulnerable and told him how I felt. He probably would have been, like he said, expecting me to say, I love it, and I do love it, and I love KidBuilders and love to see where God's going to take KidBuilders, but needed to tell him what was in my heart. So by doing that, the Lord really started working, and that was before I knew Tracy was even pursuing anything as far as missions and all of that. So it was just a peaceful, we didn't have any decisions made, but I told him what my heart was. We left that conversation, we both prayed, we all prayed about it, and came back with some more decisions to be made, and my husband and I both prayed about it, and he was like, that's what we need to do, Jenny. So just really sweet how God just opened up that door, and because I was being obedient to what he called me to do, he's just, this is going to be a new challenge for me. My marriage, we started having a family really young, and one of our goals was to be with our kids, to make sure I was home. And my biggest thing I told Shane was that I don't want my schedule to change, and my children and my family were first and foremost. And it's working that way. It's still working that way. But I feel like my kids are at a point where mom can do a little bit more, and it doesn't need to just be, I do need to be there for my kids, but it needed to be something that I needed to do and what God's calling me to do. So super excited for it, excited for where discipleship process is going to be going, and so many opportunities to grow that ministry, which I'm really excited about. And Chuck is doing a phenomenal job in kids ministry, and I'm excited to see where he's going to go and where he's going to lead KidBuilders and equipping this next generation, and coming alongside parents and you guys as leaders. This is a ministry that we should all be excited to be a part of, because we are raising up this next generation and have this responsibility, and it's an exciting responsibility, and it's fun. So I'm excited for him and Ashley and where the Lord's going to take them and KidBuilders, and we'll just let Chuck share his heart for what's to come in this next season. And so, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Jenny. And I think I speak for all of us when I say you've done a phenomenal job leading this KidBuilders ministry for the last 3 years. Just could not appreciate you more. It's been such a pleasure serving with you for the past year, and just getting to take on your heart for KidBuilders. And I hope to move forward and carry on that heart and that passion, that vision for KidBuilders. And I think you can look around and see the consistency that the ministry has gone through, even through multiple transitions. So just way to go. Another round of applause. And also I want to thank Pastor Shane for all his support, because I've only been in ministry for a couple years now, and Pastor Shane is the one who's really training me to grow in my calling to be a shepherd of God's people. So thank you for the leadership that you bring to the Father's house. And to me as well. So thanks so much for that. Well, I'm so excited for all the things that God's doing here at the Father's house this year. And I'm especially excited for what He's called me to step into as the Children's Ministry Director. And I was thinking about it earlier today, and I'm excited for 2 different reasons. The first reason is that I seriously believe that the family unit is one of the most significant ways that the church experiences spiritual growth. Amen. I really believe that children and family ministry is one of the most impactful ministries for the next generation of the church. I truly believe that. And the other reason I'm so excited is because kids ministry is stinking fun. Yes, we get to hang out with kids, and if we don't have fun, it's kind of not a win for the day, right? I mean, obviously our primary task is to teach and train them to know God's Word, absolutely. But in order to keep it engaging, fun is absolutely necessary. So I just absolutely love this job. We get to do one of the most important ministries in the church and have a blast doing it.
Love it.
So that's what I'm really excited for. And naturally, I think when one person starts to take over what used to be two different positions, it's fair to ask what are we going to do practically to make sure that that works out. And I just wanted to assure you guys that there will not be an age group team that gets left behind, that falls through the cracks. And to do that, I'm planning to create a few new positions in KidBuilders who are going to really take ownership over different age group teams. And these team leaders are going to help me do things like ensure that classroom supplies are well stocked, do things like bring leadership, bring consistency to classrooms as teachers rotate out every couple weeks, help me with scheduling, recruiting, things like that. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time with these, or regular time with these team leads, and we're going to make sure that every single teacher in KidBuilders is heard, is supported, and feels like they're being equipped to do the work of the ministry.
So good.
So I'm really excited to get into that. And on top of all that, I mean, we couldn't have a better scenario. Ginny is staying on staff at the Father's house, and she's going to make sure that over the next month or so that this transition is really smooth and the handoff between the two of us just works out really well. So we just could not ask for a better scenario in a transition time like this. And for those of you that haven't been on my elementary team before, who I know pretty well, I just want to say that Ashley and I are super excited to start getting to know you. So for the next couple of months, we're going to start connecting with you, calling you up, and we want to set aside some time with each of you to just intentionally get to know you guys a little bit better. So we are very, very excited to step in, do life with you guys, and we decided to do kids ministry with you. It's going to be very, very exciting.
So good.
Yeah.
Without further ado, we'd love to do some Q&A. Open up to some Q&A, so if you guys want to answer some questions if they have them for you too.
Totally.
All right.
Yeah,
Want to do a little panel
Chuck,
there?
when can I hold your baby?
Soon, hopefully. Lord willing and the creek don't rise.
So what do you do for your position? 'Cause
So-
I don't know what that is.
Okay, so right now
Great
I
question.
oversee early childhood, which is nursery through preschool 2. So I oversee and direct that part. And I am also director of operations, so like welcome table, background checks, that type of thing, all the ins and outs, behind the scenes stuff. So
That's what you
So
previously did.
that's
so
what
then what is this new?
What's DP?
What is the
DP,
new-
discipleship process.
Right.
I'll be overseeing life groups, classes within our church.
So that is what Tracy
Yes.
was doing at the
Mhm.
end.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
And then kind of just generally the, Pastor Dan and Tracy had and have a real passion for a pathway towards from like a new believer all the way through to somebody who really
The
feels
G7
established.
classes and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, and so ultimately Ginny will be over assimilation, which life groups is a part of that, but somebody walking in the doors of our church, right, and going from I don't know anybody and I don't even know about this Jesus person to all the way through their journey of connection, welcoming, life groups, classes, ultimately, getting somebody to a place where they're stable and healthy and able to contribute. So that kind of pathway and everything in between is what we call the discipleship process.
Okay.
With the upcoming graduation for immersion, who's going to be assisting both of you in that capacity that you're taking on the roles?
Well, immersion is, like you said, coming to a close. And usually during the summer within KidBuilders, we hire a little, we have a little summer internship program that we do. So last year we had 2. This year we'll probably only have 1 that will be coming alongside Chuck and supporting him through the summer. So.
Yeah, and also, like I said, we're going to have some team leads who are also going to help support a little more as well.
Yeah.
So will that also include assistance for like setting up the welcome table and the supplies that need to be distributed to the classrooms, kind of like what's going on right
Yes,
now?
exactly.
Okay.
So I'll do that with our intern for the summer, and I'll be setting up those classrooms in the morning.
The other thing that's exciting, and Jenny kind of spearheaded this originally, and then I know that Jerry is a part of this as well, but we're really making a push towards, which ironically we have some of them in the front row, but we're really making a push towards getting high schoolers involved. It's not something that traditionally we've done with the Father's House, but we really are shifting towards that. Not obviously that our classes are only going to have high schoolers in them, they'll all have competent teachers, but we really believe in that opportunity. And so we're going to be working with Matt and Sarah and those kinds of things to ramp that up.
And we've also been working with Jerry to plan some training for the high schools as well, so they feel prepared and equipped to jump into classrooms, and make sure there's also a healthy link between the teachers and really raising up high schoolers and allowing them the opportunity to grow in their leadership to the point where hopefully by a couple years into serving they feel confident to lead a classroom if they need to. So we're really excited about that.
Kayla, do you have any questions? Pretty good.
All right.
Oh, I have a question.
Yes.
When is the actual transition of Jenny stepping into her new position going to take place?
So May 30th is the date for the transition. So right at the cusp of May to June. June we'll all be in our new positions.
Yeah. So I go on vacation the last week of May to June, and then when I come back from that, I'll be stepping into discipleship classes.
Okay.
Yep. But right now we're kind of just learning. Both Chuck and I are both learning parts and elements of the new positions. And so the cool thing is I'm not going anywhere. So Chuck and I had a conversation today. I'll stand up and talk. And just talking over things. What are you comfortable with? What are you not comfortable with? And the cool thing is I'm going to be here. I'm going to be in the office with him and talking through things weekly. Even if I'm in discipleship process and fully engulfed in all of that, I'm still here for him to run things through, talk things through, because previously in transitions, we had long transitions. And this one's a little bit shorter, a lot shorter. So we're both very aware of those things that are going to come up and questions that are going to need to be answered. So the cool thing is I'll be here. Yeah. So we're excited.
Are the kids moving up before summer or after summer?
Before.
June.
June. I think our promotion weekend is the end of June.
End of June.
And that's for K through third, or
Right. So
third
third graders
graders.
will move up to fully equipped,
Right.
and fifth graders will move up to the core. Eighth
As far
graders
as
will move up to
the
bridge.
lower, like the early childhood, that's based on age, potty training. Those moves come a lot different than what those classes do. So,
So end of June, you'll have new fourth graders.
How many
Coming
are
fourth
coming
graders.
up, do you know?
A lot. We've got about 12 third graders.
Wow, that's your class.
Yeah. Caleb's one of them. Yeah.
It's a big group.
It'll be big, fully equipped 45. Yeah.
No.
Oh, you're going to have a big group then.
yeah.
So is there someone already in place to take over the young nursery?
This is going to be Chuck.
Chuck? But you're saying you're going to have different leaders.
Yeah, so,
Oh,
yeah.
Because, like,
So,
Jenny's
We see
kind
that
of
hand.
like-
absolutely.
It's you!
We're going to talk to you afterwards.
As Pastor Dan always said, the leader is the person who cares the most, so you raise your hand.
Yeah, because
yeah.
she's, fills in
I know,
on those sorts
totally.
of things. If we have a question, we know where
Yes.
to go.
So the team leads, there's going to be 3 different team leads. Each one is going to take 2 different classrooms. So we'll have a team lead over nursery toddlers, a team lead over preschool, and a team lead over K through 3rd, which is going to be 2 different classrooms as soon as we get in this new building, K through 1st and a 2nd and 3rd grade team. And then, fully equipped is still going to be, Ashley and I are still doing the midweek, so we'll continue to play that role for 4th and 5th.
And we would love to have your guys' prayers involved with leaders for early childhood, because it is an area of need, and Chuck and I are prayerfully praying over that element too. So, and our staff as a whole, it's on our docket, and we're praying over it. So,
Definitely, and we can't be everywhere on a Sunday morning, so if you guys hear of someone, friend, acquaintance who has an interest in kids ministry, go ahead and let me know, and we'll sit down with them, because
yeah.
a lot of reward to be gained eternally in those preschool classrooms. Definitely.
The other nice thing is that when we move into this building, we'll go to 2 services. Partially because our sanctuary will be significantly smaller than it is now at the school. And so we'll have like at 8:30 and 10:30, I believe, is the times that we'll go to. And so that's really, as you know, because we lived in a world of 2 services for a long time, that it's really nice to have options for volunteers where they can serve one, attend one, instead of feeling like if I serve, then I don't ever get to go into service.
Agreed.
So
Yes.
that was probably the primary downside to going to one service, and obviously that's not something we want to stay with. So, Lord willing, we could move into this building in September. And at that point, we'll be at 2 services, which will afford each volunteer an opportunity to serve one and attend one. So,
Sorry, did you mean September of this year?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yes. Will you
I mean, this is a big
Moving.
week, you guys. We need to pray because finances are coming in, and we could have what we need by 1st of next week, and in a matter of 2 weeks, we could have full construction happening downstairs, and it's a 90-day build-out for phase 1, which is really cool.
That's what your contractor told you?
Yeah.